This is an MTPredictor trading update. Had some good questions today regarding today's trades. The day's not over yet. It's only just before 2 o'clock Eastern time here. But I wanted to, it was some good questions I wanted to kind of cover here. The first thing that I noticed coming in to the morning here, here was our closing yesterday. See, the market was weak yesterday at the end there, and we got the opening gap down. And immediately on this 15-minute, this is the NQ. On this NQ, I noticed we got the DP here on the NQ 15-minute chart. Now, the smaller time frames, everything is negative. But here we have this gap down. We've got a DP support area. And then I put the Elliott wave, the advanced Elliott wave analysis on the DP bar here. And I also had this ABC pattern, which had basically come into the minimum wave C support area. So even though everything was negative, if I go to the 3-minute chart, you can see here was the open, the gap down, and things were, went negative here early. The thing that caught my eye was the 15-minute DP into support here. So there was two ways you could play today. One is if you saw this, you're looking for a bounce and a fill of the gap off the DP support. If we put the analysis on this, here's our first blue reversal bar here. We can see the 100% initial risk line would fill this gap here. I think the this up here was actually the 4 o'clock close, and the 4:15 futures close was down here around the 100% initial risk area. So at least if I'm playing this, at least even though everything else was showing a negative trend or short trend, I'm looking at this saying they're probably going to try to fill this gap. And so, at this point, we've come into the 4:15 futures close, so that gap was filled there. And then things kind of meandered around. Now, if I had missed this and I went to the 3-minute NQ, again, right in here, we had the gap down. Our 15-minute DP would have come in right here. Again, this is the 3-minute chart. And so I know that we were getting that bounce off the DP, and we're looking to fill up, maybe this gap, and then the 4 o'clock close was actually right here, the New York close back here. So we get these short setups with the 3-minute trend. So the other way you would play it is you're looking at the 3-minute trend being short, and you're taking the short setups. And that's fine. This one happened to stop out. I can put the analysis on it. Didn't get to the 100% initial risk line. Just came and got you in and stopped you out. Had you not been looking at the 15-minute chart, you would be wondering, gee, why did I stop on that? And it's because, the 15-minute NQ had come into that DP support, and they were going to attempt at least to fill that gap. So it doesn't mean that this play to the short side was wrong, because it's a viable trade. It's with the short term or the bigger term trend here, and the YM and the ES had similar. I think the ES had a few trades, a couple trades anyway, to the short side during this time period that that failed. And then we came along here, and then right in this area we got a long TS3, and you see now that the trend is starting to come into neutral here. In fact, it went neutral here right with the TS3 set up. And we can put the analysis on that. And obviously this one played out very nicely. You've hit the first target for 3.7 to 1 risk reward, and it's actually come into that second target, which is the typical wave C area. and probably heading into the 15-minute target there. Yeah, so it hit the 15-minute, hit its target there for almost 3-to-1 risk reward. So basically, it's two ways that you can play it. One, you come in the morning, you see the gap down into the decision point. This one actually gave us a manual or a automatic decision point, and you're going to look to the long side to see if this gap is going to fill. And of course, now the gap. I'll go back to the 3-minute here. The gap has filled from yesterday, from the 4 o'clock close. Right in here. And they've come up to that next target and hit the 15-minute target. So you're either playing it to the long side, you're playing the bounce, or you're going with the trend. If you're trading off the 3-minute chart, you're looking, you're saying, okay, this is a trade setup, that's fine. Either way, this one happened to lose, on Friday. A similar kind of setup with the gap down. It was actually a bigger move down. It gapped down and continued down before it got a little bounce, short setup, and then tanked. In that case, that one worked out to the short side. This one didn't. So you just have to determine, when you come in the morning, which way you're going to play this thing. If you're going to play the potential gap down into the DP bounce, at least to see if the gap is going to close, or are you going to stick with what the trend here says? And you can see, obviously, too, the bigger trend here was down. So, it added more weight to the short side. The only thing, like I said, I saw when we came in this morning was the automatic DP set up into the wave C support, and then the gap that they like to fill. So two ways you can play it. Neither one is right or wrong. It's just you have to make your decision and pick and base your trades. All right, hope that's helpful, and we'll look for more trades again tomorrow.